This is my new chipmunk proof, as I say the word, chicken feeder. So I've dumped a little bit of food on the ground, so the chipmunk has free reign for anything dropped on the ground, which once the chickens are using this, they like I just dumped this out to attract the chickens, but this will be the only opportunity for the squirrels and chipmunks to feed themselves is in amongst the chickens if they're courageous enough or anything left behind. But they won't have a complete free reign of like pounds of food. And I have no idea how much has just been squirreled away, so to speak. Hello, little chipper. You crazy little guy. Look at him. Stuffing his cheeks. Crazy little boy. Crazy little boy. Where are you? Remember that thing? I crush your head. I crush your head. What was that? Kids in the Hall. Crush your head. So, the chipmunks still get to have some sporting fun. But I'm not like feeding 5 million of them. I'm feeding only 100 of them. So that, I think, I put these little reflective tape things on the two little knocky bits that the chickens have to peck at to release the food. So we'll see if the chickens now are more into pecking these than before I put the red on there. And I did double check about color and registering with chickens, and the chickens do register a variety of colors and perhaps even more than we do. So that does work and will be more effective. There's my chickies. Let's get out of the magnified range here. My chickens are loving, lounging around the way chickens should want to be, in my opinion. And that's based on my communication with my chickens on the more subtle levels, you might say. They seem to be letting me know by their actions and general energy, lack of display of stress, that they like it here. They really, really like it here, and I feel good about that. And you may think that's odd, but happy chickens is happy life. So I'm going to stick with that. And we'll see how the chickens do with their new little feeding station. I'll watch over time. Chicky poos. But look at this. Just walk around here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chickens just hanging out. There's 6 chicken in the little mini bit of forest there, in the little grove. Like, they're also relaxed enough to not all be huddled together for safety. Here we go with some more. There's Roosty. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chickens that I can see, plus Rooster, so that's 7 plus 6. That's 13. I think that's them. But look at them. Are these not happy chickens? Hi, chickens. Are you happy? Now, keep in mind as well, I just chased down these chickens as compassionately and lovingly as I could to get them over here. And I thought for a few days they'd be afraid of me or something and a little stressed. But they're not. And that also told me something. Now, we also have our wonderful guardian dogs here, keeping the chickens safe. Aren't you a good boy and a good girl, Tor and Khaleesi? See, they're doing their job. So now that the chickens are here, they feel like they got more purpose and therefore more value. They feel more needed. Hello. Hello, my babies. Oh, you're guarding the chickens. You're guarding the chicken store. He's a good boy. Let me clean your eye. There. He's my baby. Oh, I love my dogs. I love my chickens. And soon, I'll be loving my guinea hens. I want to make a little guinea hen. It's a concept, but I think that if I put a post in somewhere in the middle here with a little house, birdhouse, big enough, let's say for 4 guinea hens. They're a bit smaller. That way they have a place to hang out. If they want to go into the chicken coop with the chickens, they can. But if they want to get out into their own little spot, they can go up into their upper roost. And I've got to read up a little bit on things because I don't want to make them vulnerable to owls or something. So I've got to really be on top of that. Just to make sure. Here, chickens. Do you want to come and see your new feeder? I think they're getting enough bugs out there that this isn't even bothering them that they didn't have access to it, only because they didn't have it figured out. Here, chickie. Chickie, 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 come and get your food. Chickie, chickie, chickies. Wow. They're not running over, which means they are not starving. Come on, chicken. Come on, this is novel. I'm all excited because I did something cool and I want you guys to check it out. Just hoping that the sticky stuff on this will hold. Whoa. Here, chickie, look, a whole bunch fell out. So I've been playing around with the size of the hole because I want a certain amount to come out. You know, that's like, woohoo, per thing, but that it will stop when they stop pecking. So come on, chickie, come on over. Good boy. Good girl, Kelly. Come on, chickie. Come on, chickies. Come on, I got like 4 of you looking at me. Okay, I'll move out of the way. Some John Fogerty, Creedence Clearwater Revival to set the stage for chickens figuring out how to use this feeder for the first time. Let's see if it works. Come on, chickies. Yeah, you could be the one that figures it out. Okay, so peck up all that stuff. But then when you finish, take a peck at those red things. I think this would be very, very good. Come on, I want to know who's the smartest chicken. Yeah, come on, chickie. There's another one coming over. There's a few more pecking at the pineapple I gave him. These are definitely well-treated chickens. Let's see. That little chipmunk probably will come right up to that food with the chicken. It's going to be cautious for sure. Could get horrible peck. But maybe I'll just magnify here. Let's see. Okay, chicken, take a peck at the red stuff. I'm freaking chafing at the bit here. Whoop, got startled by another chicken flapping its wings. Come on, peck at that red thing. Just want to have it proven on camera. Captured on camera here. It's going to happen, and as soon as one starts doing it, all the others will start doing it when they watch the other. I did one the other year with a watering thing, which was like one of these buckets with these little nipple things that they can peck at. And I didn't leave it up for a long time because I had my main waterer, but it was long enough for them to start pecking at it. But maybe it was the young ones that were new. Maybe they're quicker to figuring things out when they're younger. I don't know yet. We'll see. I know they will figure this out. It's going to happen. And I actually got red reflective tape. I thought, oh, this could even be better. We'll see. Peck. Oh, you looked at it. You looked at it. Oh, sorry, I have it in the wrong place here. When it's magnified, it's easier to miss the target. Okay, 2 chickens. Come on, you figure it out. Someone do a little peck. Come on, peck at that. That's so exciting to get that first peck. Come on, first peck. Chickens. Good, you come over. You have a go at it. Yeah, go on over. I'm not going to chase you at all. That's one. Actually, these are both 2 of the older hens. These are like 3 years old, which is rare for older or for commercial chickens. That's a whole story how I ended up. Someone who's really into the heritage and landrace animals, chickens, birds, ends up with a bunch of factory laying hens, and it was basically I was running out. I didn't get enough eggs hatching from the Icelandic batch of eggs. Lots of roosters. Roosty's the last surviving one of them. Well, last at our place. And so I was like, wow, I'm going to be spending all this money keeping a coop going, feeding these, I think it was 2 chickens and a rooster. So I found out that you can buy these almost laying hens for like $10, $15. So it was just too perfect. I bought a bunch. They're actually very nice temperament birds, considering. And now I'm sort of revitalizing them, you might say. I'm giving them their fullest opportunity to open up and let breathe, using the words of wine, red wine. Their genetic vault, if you want to call it, they're very, very narrowed down with this breeding program, I'm sure, compared to a landrace chicken. But nonetheless, I'm giving them the best opportunity to maximize the use of whatever they do have access to and wake it up. And I can't help but see a little bit of a parallel between them and us, or many of us. You know, I think all of us humans, we kind of fit into all the ranges, from landrace chickens to heritage chickens to variety of levels of commercialized chickens. Including some that would fit into the sort of the meat bird that can't even walk and stuff. And I'm not saying this to make fun of people. It's just that a lot of our lifestyles that have been encouraged, and quite often due to poverty. I know in Bancroft there's a large community of people that are very financially challenged, let's say, and it has been in the family for generations. So, you know, you get brought up in that. But anyways, jumping to the punchline here, a friend of mine who picks up any scrap food at the kitchen for his pigs, he said it's really horrible to think that what they consider a meal is actually fed to human beings. And this could be like an overcooked pasta with a jar of spaghetti sauce, and that's it, you know, or something like that. Not adequate nutrition for people in need, you know, and quite often with babies, children, very often addicted to various drugs, pharmaceuticals, and therefore even more in need of nutrition. So very unfortunate situation that many of us are in, and I'm always do my best not to turn the other shoulder and turn away from anything and open myself to anything that's uncomfortable for more wisdom to come through. So, okay, chicken, you've just about exhausted everything on the floor. Look at that red thing, 2 of them, right at head level, and give a peck at it. Come on. Give a peck. It's got to be soon. You're almost out of any chance. There's a few little seeds. Now you can hear this radio at the side of me. It's on. I bought a $7 radio at the Sally Ann, and I've plugged it in with an extension cord, and it's supposed to keep skunks away because they don't like the rowdiness from the chickens. So come on, chickie. Come on, chickie. Okay, peck at that red thing. Come on, you could do it. As soon as you make the connection, you'll do it again. I know it. Chickens are actually very quick. Once they figure something out or they get it, they hold, they remember. They adapt very, very nicely. Okay, I'm going to just pull this back a bit. See if I can sit down close enough to this chickie. Here, chickie. Oh. So now maybe what I can do. Here, chickie. Chicken. Yeah, they're just not. It's also hot. And as you know, sometimes when it's hot, you just don't feel like eating. So I made this one a little too short. That's my first one. And of course, the sticky stuff is not holding as well. It doesn't matter. I'll eventually figure out a way to make those stay on better. But I think this is a very good prototype. Normally, when I first visited this out, for example, I had 4 or 5 chickens all crowded around. I was hoping they'd all come running, but yeah, they're laid back. They're not hurting at all. So I think we'll go back to our other chores. That's what we used to call them when I was a kid, kind of going back to my childhood memories. So we'll let those guys figure that out. And there's my rescued old chicken run cage with part of the roof, which I'll be rebuilding onto here. And that's going to be a wonderful day when the chickens have a little covered area, because they will need that wind protection, snow protection, and so on for the winter. Definitely don't need snow protection for the summer. Might have been overstated, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay. I am liking my roasted coffee so much that I sometimes get this urge to just have another coffee, which I do not do if I'm after noon. But must stress I am, within my little realm of capacity. Farthest thing from an expert, but within my realm and my experience of now a little over a month of roasting coffee every day. I am loving it, and I have definitely perfected to some degree to where I wasn't so keen on the taste, and now I'm loving the taste more, so I think that means I'm getting better at it. So I have my pine needle tea in a thermos. I'm going to have myself some. And then I'm going to get a little bit more done on the Phoenix. I've got an idea, because I've been really thinking about this fragility aspect of the Phoenix in the situation where a snowplow comes by and is just raking by, and there's a ton of snow piles up. And what if even it gets hidden under a snowbank and then whacked again when it's not visible? There's all kinds of possibilities. Here's my my thermos of lovely pine needle tea, which I haven't had any yet today. I haven't missed a day since I started drinking it about a week and a half ago, or more. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. It was when the trench was being dug. So, we're going to just want you to see the color there. It's funny, there's a little flashing red dot next to the how many minutes are going by, and I'm not focused on it. Sometimes I think it's a mosquito bite on my hand or something, and then I realize, oh, the mosquito bite is flashing. Look at that color. Look at that color. It's beautiful amber color. There's some light. Take it out here. Now this is on stainless steel in behind, but it's a little slightly overcast right now, but with a bit of sun, so that will give you an idea. It's absolutely, I don't know if you got me here. Gosh, I am not exaggerating. I want to just get something across. I thought that this would have a piney taste, for lack of a better word, you know, to the point where it might be a little bit challenging for some. And very surprised to realize that it's almost not piney at all. I mean, there's a hint somewhere, and it depends on the needles you harvest and probably the time of year. Whoa, that was warm. Spilt a little bit. But it is, I would say, citrus is what comes to mind, and not in the sense of sour, more citrus of the peel, like a zest, which I guess maybe that's part of the terpene thing, and that's why. But it would be like, yeah, like taking a hint of sort of between an orange and lemon zest, maybe more orange zest. But I would say I constantly, for the last 20, 30 years, probably all my life, you know, I get an urge for some herbal teas, and I go to the store and I look through them and pick and choose this one and that one, and maybe a one that's a little higher end and one that's a little this or that, or maybe I'll order something that's even a little bit more special. It's supposed to have more focus on the health benefits, so therefore the quality is better or something. And I really liked a hibiscus that I was getting at one point, and it wasn't powdered or into a little refined chaff. It was like the flower, big pieces. It was gorgeous, and it smelled wonderful, and it tasted intense. That's a different kind of tea. It's very powerful, anyways. I always loved rose hip as well. We used to harvest them and make wine and tea, and kind of almost like a beer, like a mild effervescence would form. And one time, we were doing also ginger beer. We did, and it wasn't specifically alcohol, but there was one time where somehow by accident it kind of went like a wine, in between a wine and a beer, so it was fizzy and it didn't taste sour, which sometimes will happen when it's starting to ferment, which usually is what wine tastes like before it's fermented properly. But ow, can't see where that little thing came from, so I think that's what you call a no-see-um, and you know now why it's called that. Oh, so I keep meaning to put together a lovely collection of information that I find on the internet, just kind of summarizing the health benefits in drinking pine needle tea that I'm finding. Now, I never been told this, but I see other people doing it, so I will put the warning. I am not a doctor, although these days doctors don't have the greatest reputation, so that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But nonetheless, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist in this area. I'm a specialist in soul print technology, I guess you could say, and that does bleed into this, because soul prints are an energetic process, physical to energetic, working with the body, we'll say, that aspect of our being as an interface to access other levels of who and what we are that I've developed for 40 years. And I'm now in the process of almost well, bleeding that over into the rest of my life. I found that I've become extremely good at refining that technique, and people get wonderful results aside from the beauty of the work I do. And I'm not going to pat myself too much in the back, but I have put a lot of time and energy, and I love what I do, so I put all my heart and soul into it. And people do tell me they prefer my artistry and the experience. So I have a certain point I thought, well, why is it I've gotten so good helping others and I haven't really applied it the best to my life in certain areas? Spiritually, in a sense, yes, but practicality, I just not been the greatest bookkeeper, the greatest accountant, the greatest. Frankly, I just wish that stuff didn't exist. I really hate it. I hate it. I hate little envelopes with a clear window in them arriving at my mailbox. I get stressed about it. Doesn't matter what. And then half the time, I might find out it's a $50 reimbursement or something, and I was stressed out over it until I opened the thing. But you know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of people feel this way. It's just not my forte. So what I decided, and it wasn't like an instant decision thing, but I decided that I would apply the soul print philosophy and technology to my life. As many who have watched before, I have, you might say, crash landed from the reality I was in before, where I was, I think I was netting, or my business was netting $200,000 a year before taxes and paying for employees and so on. Even though, I had employees and I had out jobs and things to pay for like any company, but it was all coming in through, what's unique about it is through one needle at a time, one client at a time. I can't tattoo two clients. I didn't have other people hired to do that work either, like I did in Toronto. So it was all coming through my needle. So if you think about it, $200,000 a year, it's a lot of hard work, a lot of focus. You can't just halfway put your focus into this kind of work. Every person is in here for healing, and I put my heart and soul into it, 120%. It's a pine cone. I put my heart and soul into everything, and then I figured, because Fergus, hour and a half from Toronto. When I moved to Fergus, I thought it was maybe the worst thing I had done and didn't know, and I might have to go back to Toronto and work, and I didn't. My business actually went up. And I also found that from my observation over 40 years, whenever times get a little difficult, you would think that tattooing would go down in popularity. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, and it's a commitment, but always, when life gets difficult, the urge to get a soul print, especially, or any tattoo, goes up. And although I don't interact a lot with other tattoo artists, excuse me, went down the wrong hole. But I do believe that a large portion of tattooists, tattoo artists, whatever they would prefer to be called, even someone that is limited within their creativity as far as original work goes, and they're just doing flash designs, but they're doing it with great integrity. So they're putting love into it, putting their heart into it. They care about their clients. They care about their reputation. Good integrity. I'm not cutting anyone. I believe that there is a natural, unconscious or slightly conscious tendency for tattooists, tattoo artists to take wonderful care of their clients. And even without the concept of soul print. I also know that there's a lot of tattoo artists who have been influenced by my work hopefully in a good way, at least the ones that I've interacted with, and who may not be using the term soul print, although I've given them permission to, because I really love their work and their approach, and their energy is absolutely wonderful. Uh, so I've given them my blessings, and as I've said, if you want to use this term, go for it. I'm not trying to own things, but I would prefer people who aren't in sync with what I'm doing not to use that term. But gravitate towards it by all means. And I am in the working of making a book, writing a book for 20 years now. But now it's really come together in my head, in my heart, and I think this winter I'm going to work on it. Um, that will be a handbook for the person wanting shopping for a tattoo artist, or who already is coming to me and just wants to get the most out of their tattoo experience. Um, I'm also going to be offering workshops and this is for people who have no interest in a tattoo at all, or people who have an interest. It will all build upon the same idea. I'm going to have the main flux energy of the conduit we will be accessing is creativity, through art. If you want to call it that, or loosely art in some cases, and it's not geared towards the artist specifically, although I'll have maybe more advanced courses more geared towards the artist, but always with people who are welcome, who don't consider themselves creative or don't consider themselves an artist. And that's not the point. What I want to make here is it is the process that I will teach you how to use to clear negative energy, to clear negative thoughts, stinking thinking, to clear old packages, old baggage, and welcome in, and how to create, to open up a way of perceiving which you will need. It's like a set of tools to work this and to heal yourself. I really believe there are plenty of practitioners in every field, but real healing only happens with your permission and with your effort. The rest are guides, and I feel that anyone that pretends to be more than that, I would be skeptical, and I am myself skeptical. So guess what? One of the elixirs that will be drunk during the workshops, and also during soul print experiences in general, will be pine needle tea. And it's not just for the list of ingredients that help, the antiviral, antifungal, anti-parasitic, anti-histamine, anti-oxidant. Two different, Arthur Haynes points out, there's two different categories of antioxidant in it, which is very unique for any plant. So just stock full, bursting at the seams with healing potential for us specifically, in the pine needle tea and other products from the pine tree and other trees and other plants. But right now, that's the one that I'm focusing on. It came to me so loud and clear and so lovingly, during an extreme time of challenges and need, that I couldn't, it was so blatantly obvious I couldn't miss it. And for that, I am eternally grateful. I will never forget this communication that's happened, and I am going to stay tuned to that level, that frequency, that, it's like a memory. I now have a memory of a unmistakable communication, a reaching out from the other that is also, I believe, a part of me, but just at the moment seems to be from outside of me. But I think that's all due to my misunderstanding of the capacity of what is me and what is beyond me. Like, where is it just an extension of me? And I'm curiously open to the idea and receptive to the idea that all of this may just be deeper levels of me. That the distinction between me and my environment start to blur as I reach into these deeper levels. And I think that's where shamans and vegetalistas and ayahuasqueros and ayahuasqueras and huachumeros and huachumas and whatever. You get the point. Are tuning into. I think that when you move, I'm using terms from a limited 3D perspective, reality, but when you move in, when you lean in, that's a term I really like. When you lean into God, when you lean into the thorns, the difficulties, the challenges, rather than recoil, and it lean as in a subtle, gentle, loving kind of lean, loving for yourself and for your environment, not aggressively. Uh, it's an offering in the one sense. You're reaching out to. You're not just sitting there waiting for something to be stuck on your plate. So there's an interaction, an offering in that sense, and you get something in return. And this is something that's really come clear to me over the last while, especially from direct experience. And the only way I believe I got this experience was because I absolutely, because of circumstance, just let go. You know, I landed. I call it a crash landing, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Not that I have to defend myself, but this is just how I've perceived it. If you're a pilot, you're flying a plane, and the instruments malfunction, and your challenge now is to land that plane without the instruments working, or maybe the wheels broke or something, um, and you manage to do quite well. I feel that that's what I have done. Um, I maybe could have done it better. I'm sure I could have, but I did reasonably well. Uh, and that I won't go into why I believe that, but I somehow managed to not lose everything. Um, and I've chosen, the biggest blessing is that I've recognized the blessing of what has happened and where I am, and that this is not something taken away from me, being done to me. It is something being offered to me and given, or I don't know, it goes into a realm that is beyond words. And it's unfolding for me in the Pine Needle Tea communication event, and has not closed. That portal is opened, and working at keeping it open. So I know through clients and their experiences, quite often a traumatic event will blast open their potential, their portals, their frequencies, and it, at times they'll feel like, whoa, like I am in a place that is breathtakingly mind-blowing, but at the same time I'm in trauma. And then I talked to them maybe 3 months later, and they had all the words for it at one point, and they can't write them down now because they just can't remember the words. And then 6 months later, they don't even remember, except that I tell them what they told to me, and it's gone. And this is from many situations. So these, quite often, the traumatic event will blast open these avenues, these portals, and the soul print strategically placed at that time is great for working that. But if one doesn't keep with awareness working this, it will close up again. Or especially if you don't send the message that you want it to stay open. Maybe you want it to close. Many people want it to close. You know, it's uncomfortable to be open. You know, but what we need to do, I believe, is rather than close up for comfort, like an armadillo, we hold that open gently and compassionately and